we are going to begin tonight's D&D adventure on the lowest tier of Gaim, the royal tier, the clockwork tier, as Owlin steps out of the palace, where there is a sort of bunker that has been protecting Laredith, the avatar of Awara. At the end of our last session, you had come to the conclusion that you needed to regroup with really all of the stakeholders, right? The whole four guys, Ventures and Vibes team, and figure out what your next step is. Do you go searching for Kay and try to complete the cataclysmic ritual, or do you use the access to magic that the Rod of Seven Parts gets you to try and protect Gaim, which is under siege and an imminent threat? And when you last left, you had told the queen, like, hey, I don't know what we're going to do, but I'll talk to the people about it. And so as Owlin steps out of the palace, Laredith left behind, continuing to disassemble her machine in case we do leave, so that she can bring that with you. And probably Randy is down there helping, I would guess.
Yep.
Your head of cool stuff for R&D. So you leave those two behind. You step out into the fenced-in courtyard of Salen's palace, and where last time you were here, this lowest tier was sort of a bustling celebration of art and precision artifice. Now it looks a lot like your campaign against Stainless way back when you were in the army did, as far as soldiers moving back and forth. There are little barricades being made, carts and spare materials being flipped on their sides, posted up towards the entrances to make sure that there are sight lines and lanes and ways to evacuate the wounded, and all the different preparations that you do in a city that's under siege. All of those things are happening around you. You look over and you see a number of probably civilians, people who are not in uniform, but are helping kind of stack up supplies in crates and boxes by the walls, presumably, ammunition or something like that. And as you leave that area and you head towards the Gemstone Hall, which has access to the verticulator that will take you back up to the 10th tier where the rest of your party is, take us into Alan's head. He's processing, he's thinking about this. But he's also taking in the scenes of, there's a battle coming, and what is that like for him, that kind of surreal deja vu experience?
Alan is conflicted because he feels for the people of Gaim, he feels for the queen, in that, we Four Guys has access to resources that have a chance to change the tide of this besiegement. And, if they took an opportunity to counterattack, in a surprise move, they could drive off the enemies for just the right amount of time. Or he's considering all these ideas. Like, if we were to side with Queen Salen, right? Yeah. I'm not saying that wrong. These are he's considering, these are all these options. But he has this sinking feeling that there's a chance that it couldn't matter, that it wouldn't matter. And that is what he is preparing himself to bring to everyone else. This is such a weighty decision that there's no way he would want to take it upon himself to make it. He wants everyone's voice to be heard in the company on this. And it needs to be a group decision, because this decision of whether to stay and fight or to leave, in Alan's mind, it will decide. Like, making the right decision will decide the fate of Urida. So he's wrestling with that. His mind is racing as he reaches the reticulator.
Yeah, and carrying that pressure with him up 10 floors. You almost ghost through, each gemstone hall on each tier. There's a changeover as you get into the next reticulator to go from, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and so on and so forth. Kind of ghosting your way through the gemstone halls, which have been repurposed to be food banks. And so, there's just food and supplies being handed out to civilians. It's all being rationed. Food stores are low, and so you're kind of walking through this big reminder of the state of things in Gaim. As you make it to the 10th tier, where Four Guys Ventures and Vibes have anchored their airship, the SS Happy Orc, otherwise known as the Cugboat, by kind of chaining it to one of the large bridges or walkways that connect city blocks here. You step outside, and it's not exactly what you expect, in that the ground around and underneath of the Four Guys airship is completely cleared, where before it was packed with refugee tents. There now is like a wide berth being given to the Four Guys airship, and you see several dead bodies on the ground beneath it. And as you walk over, the rope ladder has been pulled up into the airship, so there's only the anchor that's hanging down. Eventually, looking up towards the ship, you do see the shining sensor-full face of FP62 kind of peek over the side, as if he's checking what's going on, and so that's the first person that you see.
Hello. Could you bring me up?
Yes. Are you incapable of walking? I will get the ladder and carry you up. One
no,
moment.
I mean, just lower the ladder. I do not need assistance on the ladder. Thank you.
Certainly. Welcome back, Alan.
Thank you.
Toss the rope ladder over.
As Alan's climbing, he'll ask, what happened to these people? And he'll point down to the dead bodies.
It appears blunt force trauma and other weapon inflictions have killed them.
What was the reasoning behind that?
They were bad.
Alan nods his head and continues up the
as Alan gets to the top of the rope ladder having this conversation, you see that the glass windows of the old spa at the aft end of the airship, which you had kind of repurposed into a war room, the glass windows have been shattered and the large table has been thrown through them. And there are bloodstains on the deck, although what happened to the bodies is anyone's guess as far as you're concerned. But there are bloodstains on the deck, and you can see that there are a couple of people who are doing what sure looks like the cleanup after a fight. Mockery is sweeping up bullet casings from where FP62 had been posted on the walls, and Fox is up there yelling at people to put things in the right places and get cover where it needs to be, and the like. And so you come up, and Four Guys is mostly present and kind of abuzz with activity. Hi, T-Sav. We see you in the chat.
Did some friends come to visit? Alan will ask Fox.
You could say that. They
we do not kill friends.
Sorry. Sarcasm is not my strong suit around FP here. No. They showed up. They brought a lot of gold, or, well, in this case, wingle digits, and said something about a deal. I didn't know anything about it.
You notice behind Fox there are briefcases full of about 100,000 wingle digits.
Don't tell me that we just killed for some money.
Oh no, they were going to give us the money, but it was going to be for Jeb's life, and I said no to that and took the money anyway.
It was never Jeb's life.
Sorry,
yeah, just my
supposedly
hand.
negotiated for his hand. Though
well,
I don't think
not
that
in
would have
marriage.
happened.
An actual taking.
Well, is it taken care of? Are we good? Do we need to leave?
We took off the first wave.
So there will be more?
Well, I don't know if there'll be more. Maybe they learned their lesson.
All silliness aside, you remember that debt that I paid off? That we paid off a long time ago, and
yes,
I was kind of remiss about using company funds, and you guys were gracious enough to. Well, apparently these guys were like, "Nah, he still owes," and they were trying to I think they were probably feeling a little vengeful or spiteful, or maybe they didn't like me getting a clean getaway by paying off the debt or whatever.
Yeah, but I think everyone's a bit desperate at these times. They maybe saw it as a way of I don't know, establishing some sort of dominance here, or
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
that seems like it, which honestly doesn't make me feel too great for the folks here if we've got the Deadeyes, you know, establishing themselves in this area that could
That's true.
cause problems. Although, well, we won't get into that. But
Climb is climb everywhere. Mockery has walked back onto the deck, having dumped the shell casings over the side. It will make no difference whether it is siege or it is not siege. There's going to be crime. Crime, always crime.
Well, speaking of the siege, I have something I must discuss with as many members of Four Guys as we can have here. I recently spoke with Laredith and with Queen Salen, and we have some choices we need to make as far as our next move, and I want all of us to be able to weigh in.
Everyone kind of passes around the missive so that, you wind up with everybody on deck. So you've got your chiefs of staff, Marcy, Zal, Joffrey, Randy is obviously downstairs. The Mike in it is there. Franklin Webb, Mr. Prophecy is here. Rex and Sasha step back onto the deck. They've made their way to Gaim. Clara Albuquerque joins you. She's been probably stowing catering supplies or something, in the galley, but she kind of comes back up to join the conversation. The Mountain steps up there, so you kind of have this whole gathering of the whole Four Guys crew.
Well, as I'm sure most of you know, the plan up to this point was to regroup here, gather up all the supplies and personnel we need for the cataclysmic ritual, and leave with the avatars on board and find Kay, and then directly from there go and initiate the cataclysmic ritual. I know that most of you have been preparing our supplies and our ship with these things in mind.
It's been a long time coming.
Yes, I completely agree. However, after speaking with Queen Salen, she requested that we stay here and fight off this siege. At first, I was flatly against it. In fact, Laredith warned me that would be what she would immediately ask us to do. And in that moment, I attempted to harden myself against that argument before we spoke. But as we spoke, I realized that the Queen comes from a place of care for her people and a place of wisdom as well. I believe that there are good arguments on both sides of what we should do, and the Queen did say that if we helped aid lifting the siege, then she would let us go. Well, she said that she wouldn't impede us in any way, no matter what we choose, which I greatly appreciated. I think I just wanted to bring this to you all, and for us to discuss what the next best move is. Should we change our plan? Should we stay here, lift the siege, or attempt to lift the siege, and then move towards Kay and the cataclysmic ritual? Or should we leave now and leave Gaim to fate, essentially, and hope that we can start the cataclysmic ritual in time to save Gaim? I will not reveal my bias or what I believe we should do at this time. I think it's important to have an open discussion first. So I'll open the floor to really anybody who has any strong opinions.
Bruiser steps forward. I think we should help Gaim. They've done so much for us. And there are so many people here who desperately need help. Freeing up this siege would really aid a lot of people.
Rex pushes his Hematetian form to the front of the group and he says, "But you haven't seen what these things can do. Like, we've been up close with them. There's no fighting them. There's no if Gaim gets breached, Gaim is done for. Like it's not like you stay here and you lift the siege. It's like you keep the city secure and you hope that's what happens, because if they get in here, it's game over.
Yeah. I know you have stayed here for a long time and kind of built four guys here. What are your thoughts with your familiarity with the city?
As a number of blue spores kind of float through the air, connecting everyone to Yaz's mental communication abilities, you hear Yaz's calm, aloof voice say, I am intrigued by both possibilities, but I have come to learn in my time here and before here, traveling with you all, that what is most important is family. And you all are my family. And as long as we are all together, I am not concerned with which course we choose to travel, only that we travel it as a team. I mean, there's a whole lot of world out there. B Street kind of hefts his lumberjack axe in a sort of reassuring way. Like, you know, this is his tool. This is what he kind of hangs on to, anchors himself with. There's a whole lot of world out there. It seems awfully rash just to give up on it just because this part's in danger.
Yes, but the whole lot of world out there appears to be turned towards this direction.
Well, all the more
We are
reason to
standing
go
in the
try and
last
help
free
it.
city of Urda.
This part of the world has an army in it to help them.
No, you missed my point. This is the last free city of Urda.
Not to, this is, I would really love to know, Fox and Jeb, what your thoughts are as well. Not to put the founders' opinions over anyone else's. I just want to make sure you're able to voice what you're feeling.
You want to go first, pup?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest to all of y'all here. Listen, I haven't had the strongest faith when it came to our mission. I even abandoned it for a short time. To see these people in a desperate need, clawing for any way to survive, and to know that we could potentially have any, even if it's a small chance, part in protecting them and keeping them alive and leaving them to their fate is what it feels like if you were to go off and you not find somebody who may not even be found or can be found. But I know also as well that, I mean, this whole ritual thing is what's going to bring it to an end. If we don't do this ritual, then all we'd be doing is buying Gaim some time, but maybe that's worth it. Maybe buying Gaim some time is worth it.
This needs to end. Mockery throws the cigar she just lit on the ground and kind of stomps on it. This is all because of not doing the ritual. As everything else we do only prolongs. At some point you have to do the ritual. So you either do it now and whoever has died up to then has died, or you do it later and whoever dies up to then has died. You're just leaving more time for people to die.
Mock's right. We have to think of the bigger picture.
But is the army just gonna poof away just because we do the ritual? Are all of the people out there truly under enslavement of the Aboleth, or are they just following orders?
I mean, on a certain level, yeah. I mean, if the Aboleths are no more, and their enslavement of commanders or whatever is no more, and then, I mean, I can tell you, I'm not operating under the faculties that I was previously under. I imagine the same thing would happen to the others.
the mountain leans over, still not saying anything because he doesn't say things, but leans over the railing and just looks down, kind of sad, towards the town.
All right,
I've
here's the
seen
thing.
People...
Nope, you go ahead.
Yeah, we can't keep doing this.
All right. So here's the thing. And Jeb slaps a piece of parchment down on the war room table that we're all kind of gathered around, and he slides it out. And on it is like a big crazy conspiracy grid of things that he's written down and circled and tied, and he's got the prophecy on there and this, that, and the other, and like all of the components. And we need to, the last time that we just followed our gut, it kind of burned us. We need to think logically about this. You know, I don't want to throw emotions out the door and you know, and abandon that. But there's a time that's ticking, and we need to be aware of that. Remember the last time that time ran out, because, and this is on a larger scale than that.
Franklin
The
Webb
aboliths
steps
are doing-
forward, and he's kind of scratching his little molefolk nose. He goes, "Yeah, I started this adventure on the heels of a prophecy. I'm not turning away from it now."
The aboliths are doing something. We don't know what it is, but we know it's to a point, and we know that there's a time when they're going to enact upon it. And that big question mark is scary. It could be tomorrow. It could be a week. It could be a month. We don't know. But the more time that we spend here, the less time we have to actually even pull this thing off. Whether we get all of our ducks in a row and actually find Kay and are actually able to pull it off. You know, if we knew the timetable and we were like, hey, yeah, we've got 2 weeks to really sock it to this siege and really set them back, you know, maybe we could do that and then go take care of this thing. But if the aboliths win, that's it. There is no plan B. There is absolutely no plan B.
And that is where I think I ultimately fall as well.
Marcy swears appreciatively and Scritch and throws down one of her 4 cigarettes.
I think in the end I have to look at this as a comparison of risks, and to me, it seems as though it's either risk Geim or risk the entire world. And although I hate to think of it that way or even say out loud that I would rather risk Geim than the entire world, I think that it is the logical choice, and that saddens me and makes me honestly question whether that logic even matters. Because I see the people here and I see what this has done, and emotionally I want to help, and I think that we have the potential to help, but there's just so much risk in doing that. It's risking the world, it's risking us, it's risking what if one of us, an avatar or us, perishes in the battle that we need for the cataclysmic ritual. What if, you know, because even if we are victorious in lifting the siege or fortifying the city further or whatever it is, we could be victorious but with severe losses that prevent us from doing the ritual. And
Riley flutters up. Listen, I don't know why this is a discussion. I mean, looking around the room, I think we've all said the same thing except for Fox here. And I don't know if this is a democracy or not, but even then, it's a landslide, and I don't even know why we're discussing this.
I wanted to discuss it because I just think it's a discussion worth having, and I wanted to make sure that whatever path we went forward with, that we at least had a discussion.
Consider
And
this. Zal steps to the front of the group here, her fiery red hair kind of flowing back over her shoulders. Because dungeon delving is literally what we do. Since we got here, I've been training people to dungeon delve. We're a crew of people who know what to do in dangerous underground circumstances. And we're presented with a siege that is most likely going to attack from the Underdark, or perhaps in a combined, I know. She like waves off Joffrey, who's like, tactically speaking. She's like, no, I know. They're most likely going to attack in a combined force, but we are dungeon delvers. And if they attack through the Underdark, we are maybe the best equipped people here to hold them off.
Plus, we also have magic. And you guys said it. This is the last free city, so basically the world is here.
Can I
And
just
if it
cut in
falls-
for just a moment now? Y'all are saying a lot of words that I don't really understand, being a simple baking girl, as it were. But you keep saying that this is the last free city in the world. That is not what Sir Topham Sav has been telling the people. It sounds like everything outside the city is going pretty dandy. Where are you coming from here?
Well, I hate to be the one to tell you this, or from you saying that makes me very intrigued as to how far
We get these
Sir
morning
Topham
reports
Sav's
every day.
propaganda.
You know? Yeah.
Interesting. Well, Sir Topham Sav is not to be trusted in the slightest. He is deep in league with the Aboleths and their operation. That is something that, come to think of it, we should have publicized more to people.
Yeah, I know. I had a really great idea for that, and we just never did anything. But
I don't
that's
know
on
why.
me. I got
So
captured.
you have an opinion. I don't know if it's true, but he did give us all of these televibes, and if you are gonna go, if you're gonna say he's a bad guy, a lot of people here, the televibes is their one fun thing a day. Like, they're not gonna like to hear that. Also, if
That
you're
is
leaving
fair.
them here, and this is the worst looking place at the moment, and Mr. Topham Sav, who is very fine in a top hat, I might add, he says that the rest of the world is doing just fine. Like, I don't, the painting, the picture you're painting is very different than what we're all hearing.
Clara, consider the fact that the King of Udril has fled here. We've seen the armies marching on all of the
I mean,
major
I saw
areas.
it. I wouldn't have left if I hadn't seen it. I'm letting you know
Yeah.
what we're hearing. And certainly, just because something bad is going down in Fladena, that doesn't make me know that everywhere is, under siege. But
Sure, that is fair.
yeah, I'm happy to believe what you're telling me, because not everything is adding up, but I'm going to take it with a grain of salt. And man, I wish we had some grains of salt.
I've seen the fires that they lit over the holy sites. There were a lot of them.
Satonia steps into the circle, her kind of shimmering moose-like form kind of winding its way through everybody. She walks very gently to the center of the circle, sits down on her hind legs, and almost like it's not quite coughing. It's almost like a breath weapon would look from a dragon, except instead of breathing out a weapon, she breathes out a little bit of like glowing mist that begins materializing into like a vision for you almost. So she's using it as kind of like an illusion type thing, and the illusion forms into a ticking clock, and then the ticking clock falls down onto a flat plane, still ticking. The pendulum's still going. And then 72 more of them materialize above, and each of the 72, you see the clock stop ticking, and then it zooms back into the one that is the 73rd one, like the one that's representing your universe. And as it kind of zooms back into that one, you see that one end of it is kind of jagged and shattered. And then she kind of materializes the 7 pieces of the Rod of 7 parts, and they create a bridge over the top of the shattered piece and back into like a continued plane. And then it kind of quietly dissipates into smoke.
I mean, I guess I can't argue with an avatar, right?
And that is why I wanted to have this discussion. But and Alan will kind of turn to where I assume the other avatars that we have on the boat, like Garlel,
Only Garlel's
Zatonia.
up here.
Okay.
Meredith is down in
That's
the
true.
bunker.
Yeah. So
You turn to
forget
Garlel
that
and you
there's not
find
that many,
him
yeah.
with one hand on the ladder that leads up into the nest, and he's looking up towards the ceiling. Sorry, did you need me?
Garlel.
Did you...
Well, I'm sure you've heard most of this discussion.
Yeah, I've been listening.
Yep. What is your take? Obviously, we just saw Zatonia's, and I'm apt to agree with it.
I think that we need to do the ritual. I think it needs to end, and I think that right now, all of the concern for Gaim is a present-day focus. You're looking at who is alive in the world right now and how can we protect them, but you're not thinking of the countless untold stories that may never get a chance to be told if we don't do something about the aboleths. And I think if you want to look at it mathematically, however many people are on the world right now, that number pales in comparison to the number of people who may or may not continue to exist depending on the actions we take. Also, I'm pretty sure that's not good. And he points up, and as you look up towards the skylight, you hear some distant draconic roar, and then you hear alarm whistles start blaring. And you know what that means. It means it's story time at the Winged Badger Tavern, and we will be right back.
Sinir, Gaunteus, Kotex, Olara. Long ago, the 4 ancients created a world in harmony. Then, everything changed when the chat emped magic. Only Kelnor, master of good vibes, could stop them, but when the world needed him most, he vanished. 2 years have passed, and 4 adventurers have discovered a conspiracy, a company selling magic. And although their roleplay is great, they have a lot of XP to earn before they're ready to save anyone. But I believe they can save the—
On? Alright. Hey yo! 4 guys, ventures, and vibes.
Welcome back to the Winged Badger Tavern. Let's meet the adventurers for tonight's Dungeons and Dragons session.
I'm still recovering. Hi, I'm Jake, and I play Alan Woodrear, the ASMR Barbarian Artificer, as well as Gunnar, the Hematetian Rogue Demolition Expert, who had pretty much no strong opinion in the previous discussion that was just had.
Hi, I'm Fox. I'm also recovering. We were not briefed in that, by the way. None of us saw that coming. I'm Cleo. I play Fox, the Rogue Changeling, and Riley, the Oatling. And yeah, no, strong opinions there. Aside, I'm lost in the sauce. Y'all go.
Hello, I am Trevor. I am also taken aback by what just happened. So props to Josh and TSAV for that. I will be playing Bruiser, the Winged Badger Inquisitive Rogue, and Zoth, not to be confused with Zoth, R.I.P. The Wheatling, not Oatling, Warlock.
Hey, I'm Wash. I play 3 characters. I play FP62, the cool little bot boy. I play Radford the White, the awesome Dragonborn monk who fixes shoes and kicks people with them. And Jebediah Peppermint, the moleful gun wizard who spits fire and fires spit. And I apparently had Josh's screen share muted, so I didn't hear any of that, and I have no idea what's going on. I just saw Tisav's face show up. So I'm here for the surprise.
I am Will-o' the Wisp, and I play your favorite character, Clara Albuquerque. And I'm so excited to see Sir Topham Sav.
And I'm Josh, your Wing Badger Game Master. I play everybody else. Without further ado, let's get back into tonight's Dungeons and Dragons adventure. As the alarm whistles go off, a distant shrieking can be heard. Garlel looking up at the skylight above you, which remember they widened the skylights of the city to make access to these landing pads that you're on, and so you can see in the night sky above just shadows kind of flitting back and forth. Clara, you recognize some of the cries of the dragons of Fladena as they leap into battle with darker, shadowier mirrors of themselves, kind of doing battle up in the sky above, and everyone kind of looks towards either Owlin or Fox or Jeb for like, what the heck do we do? You know, like the party are all there. Beneath you, you can hear civilians yelling and people are running, trying to get to safety. The army is, mustering. All those things are happening.
Alan?
Well, I will retrieve Laredith and Randy and the machine, and then we will disembark.
Owlin.
I'm just gonna say this, Alan. This is our chance if we're gonna go.
Yes, I agree. Like I said, I will go down, grab them, bring them up. You guys prepare anything that we need to prepare, and then we need to leave now.
Owlin, you hear Yaz's voice
yes?
in your head. Catch. And you look over just in time to see Mike and toss you a small briefcase. It has Randy's R&D logo on the outside of it, and as you catch it, as if it's to your hand, the briefcase drops and splits and begins kind of materializing into a sort of armor. It kind of splits out and it kind of grows into like little greaves and boot protections that kind of go up your legs, and then it kind of spreads from there, and you get this sort of belt that comes out of it, and it grows into almost like a full set of plate armor. But you find that there's a cipher right in the center of the plate armor of Featherfall. And so you have a consumable use suit of Featherfall on you, and you see that on your belt there are 4 more consumable ciphers of Featherfall that you could hand out as you saw fit or use for yourself. And Yaz says, Randy had an idea that you may need to make a quick descent at some point, and so he created this for you. The armor will not provide you with a whole lot of use against siege weapons, but in normal combat you should find that, numerically speaking, it makes you +2 harder to hit than whatever you were before.
Alan, takes it in, and he just kind of nods and is just like, this is an incredible idea, and I wish that I had thought of it a long time ago. Yes, this is cool stuff. Well, I am going to go do that now. And Alan kind of like steps towards the edge of the ship, gives a final like nod to everybody.
B-Street is like, what about the others? You want anyone to come down and help you?
What about me?
That is a big
Brewster's gonna rush to the cockpit to start getting
like
ready
the startup
to fly.
sequence.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So like the engines begin kind of humming and things get ready. Bruiser or B Street goes, "I'll get down to engineering," and he kind of flits.
Someone get the anchor.
All right, everybody, start finishing up packing. Grab whatever's on the docks, and we're getting out of here.
If Alan thinks about how big Laredith's machine was in the room, how many people would he estimate it would take to get it?
It was the full size of the room. Like it covered the whole floor. So the more the merrier, basically. But
okay.
Yeah.
And Alan has how many extra ciphers to give to people?
4.
4. I need 4. Yes, thank you, B Street. I need 4 people to come with me to help carry Laredith's machine up to the ship.
Zal has fallen asleep into like a narcoleptic trance. She's just kind of leaning back against the nest. She's completely out.
Okay. I can help, and by all means, I suggest we grab some other people. Gunner, where are you? Gunner, you're big.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's perfect. All right.
All right, we got Gunner, Alan. I can get my own way down.
All right.
I will stay here and secure the ship.
Jeb, did you say something earlier? You could come down as well?
It's your call. No? Do you want me here or you want me down there? I can be of use in either side.
Rex and Sasha step forward and they're like, we can help.
What about the mountain? It is pretty big.
Okay.
Yes, and then the mountain and Rex and Sasha. And that's 4 ciphers plus. Yes. All right. Perfect. So that will be the group that goes down.
Great. as the sounds of combat outside kind of continue, little echoes falling down into the area with you. The others of you who have been chosen, you strap on your ciphers. They just strap to your arm. And then as you activate them, well, actually, I don't know. Do you activate them now, or are you going to wait? I think probably the length of Featherfall, you'd want to wait until you were most of the way down. It'd be like a parachuting type maneuver.
It's like Alan will explain mathematically, once you see you've passed this tier, you're going to need to activate your cipher.
Fox
It's very scary.
just looks at Alan and says, without even looking, just grabs his axe and looks at Alan dead in the eyes and says, "I'll meet you down there because this is now or never for me," and just backs off over the railing, gripping the sacks as if though his life depends on it, because in this case it really does. And just starts plummeting.
Okay.
And Alan will kind of direct everyone to kind of be like, this is our clear path. You see where Fox is going. We're going to follow that path. And then Alan will be the first one of the rest of the group to go as well.
Okay. Everybody kind of follows you who you've called. I think it's just Alan and Fox are the only two player characters, right? We're going. Oh, and Gunner.
And Gunner.
Okay. So you all kind of step off the edge. We start with Fox. I'm going to need a dexterity save to get the timing right. You're going to have to roll at a disadvantage because you're falling, and Fox hates heights. So as Fox begins plummeting, air whooshing past you, you can hear a sort of din around you, but it's not like you can hear the individual yells of scared civilians or the army mustering at different choke points or anything like that. You're just
as I'm doing that,
rushing through.
Fox just closes his eyes and just lets the sounds ebb out, and instead just counting down, 10, 9. He's estimated the time it would take down, and he's just hoping he's right.
Okay.
And as he gets down to 1, he blows out his song. And as he does, I rolled a 19.
With disadvantage?
With disadvantage.
You nail it. Describe his landing.
He blows out the tune, and as he opens his eyes and he feels the spell effect turn on, he looks down, and lo and behold, he was inches away from the floor, and his feet gracefully touch down the second he opens his eyes. And sure enough, people looking at this sight, amazed, he just kind of... Yeah, I meant to do that. Puts the sacks away.
Yeah, soldiers who are like running back and forth are looking over towards you. One of them has just frozen in place. Like, is this the attack? Like, is this what we're preparing for? You put the saxophone away. As you put the saxophone away, the remaining members of the party begin descending down towards you. And so from Alan and Gunner, I would like dexterity saves to nail the timing, not at disadvantage, just normal dexterity saves.
So, for Alan, could I make the argument that Alan has been in this situation before? He, too many times, actually.
At least 3.
At least 3. And now that he has something to actually prepare him for this situation, could he utilize his athletics, for example, to maneuver his body in a way that... if he has to brute force the air currents, that's fine.
He's going full star pattern.
Yes, exactly.
I will let's see here. Okay, here's what I'll do. I will let you roll athletics to make the DC easier.
Okay.
And the higher you roll, the lower I will make the DC for Alan's next check. And then, because you are technically using like a piece of construction, I'll let you roll it as an artificer tools check instead of a dexterity save.
Oh, even better. All right. 19 athletics.
19 athletics. So you already, you're right. Alan has a lot of experience falling as part of his job here. In fact, as he jumps, probably the first thing that hits you is a little bit of a flashback to when you did this fighting that robot and you broke your ribs. And so Alan's like, don't do that again, as he steers himself away from the different walkways whizzing past. And then go ahead and roll your artificer tools check to get the timing.
You
right.
know, in Obi-Wan in Attack of the Clones, that scene near the beginning, you know what I'm talking about? Anyways, that's Alan right now.
The part where the fun begins?
Yes, exactly. All right. Oh, dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Alan
Very
also
good.
nails the landing. Go ahead and describe it to us.
So, as I said, Alan is doing the like full, star formation, like not doing the like cool, like zipping down at high speed. Just kind of trying to like, guide the air currents to avoid. And then about 2/3 of the way down, he smashes the centerpiece, the
Featherfall
cipher
yeah.
in the armor, and then from there like guides himself into like an upright position to where it looks like suspiciously like a certain superhero with an iron armor landing with his arms at his side and then lands on his feet and then does like a just for fun
Yeah.
little superhero landing type action
As
there.
you land with a little tink, the cipher pops out of the center of your armor, and you feel what seems like you maybe have 58-ish minutes left before the armor will kind of fade and kind of droop off of you.
Oh, interesting. Oh, so the armor itself is single use.
Yes.
Interesting.
And then we have Gunnar, Rex, and Sasha. I will roll for Rex and Sasha.
Gunnar, when he falls, it just looks like he's trying to imitate whatever Alan was doing. Like Gunnar is like Gunnar naturally sees that, oh, this person has been in this situation before. I'm gonna try to do what he's doing.
Was that for both of them, or did you roll at an advantage or disadvantage?
One of them got a 17, and one of them got a 1.
Gunnar got a 10.
Gunnar got a 10. Okay.
This is not a good roll to have a 1 on.
Yeah, this is not a good roll to have a 1 on. Okay, let's start with Gunnar. Gunnar got a 10. So Gunnar's on his way down. He's trying to do what Alan's doing. Unfortunately, his cipher is not in the center of his suit. His cipher is like on his arm. And so if he tries to do the motion that Alan did, nothing will happen. And eventually I'm sure he will realize and hit the Featherfall cipher. But
as Chad just pointed out, Gunnar is a rock, so he also falls faster.
Gunnar is literally a rock, so he also falls faster.
We all went to physics class. We know that's not how that works, okay?
I'm going by normal person physics. My physics.
He hits maximum velocity sooner.
I'm going to roll
That's
a
what we
tension
said.
die. Okay. So I think probably what happens is Gunnar still activates the cipher. He just doesn't activate it at the proper time. So it's not like he takes the whole impact of
that's true.
1,100 feet or whatever. He probably just takes some of the impact. So what I'm going to have happen is Wash roll a D8. And this is how many D6 of fall damage Gunnar will take.
I do not want to be complicit in your pain, but I will roll it anyway because you asked so nicely.
Thank you.
What's heavier, a kilogram of steel or a kilogram of feathers?
That's a classic.
A gentleman's 3.
All right, 3d6 fall damage. I'll roll it right here for you.
Oh no! Okay,
sorry, you got it. You can do it.
Oh, okay.
Also, get your realistic physics out of my fantasy world.
Holy cow! I got exactly the median damage. I got 9 damage.
All right. Gunnar takes 9 damage as he probably shakes a little bit or maybe lands on a knee like the hero landing, but because it's a hero landing, it's incredibly impractical and it like hurts his knee or something.
Yeah.
As he like hits the ground. Sasha lands next to him completely fine. Very graceful, gentle landing. And then Rex thuds into the ground. Cipher not even activated at all.
Oh,
Rex
that's not a thud.
Dead.
That's a bounce.
Yeah,
Holy
Rex is dead.
Oh!
There's no way. Rex just fell 1,100 feet.
That's traumatizing.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Wait.
Rex just that's gotta be double your HP on impact.
Okay.
I guess it maxes out at 20 D6.
Wait.
So maybe
I was
not.
gonna ask before you gave out the results, and so maybe it's too late, but I was gonna ask if I could roll to react.
You were on the ground first, so sure.
Yes.
You can roll to react. What would you be doing?
Wow.
I would be casting Featherfall.
I see. Okay, go ahead and roll a dexterity save. This is another Hematetian who was plummeting at high speed.
Well-
Your DC is 18.
Does Rex like black out from the force?
I'm sure. Yeah.
So I definitely have to time it just right because it's only a 60-foot range,
Right.
and I have to realize he's not going to trigger it in time.
Yeah. Well, if he's made it to 60 feet, he's probably too close, right? There's 100 feet between tiers.
Yeah.
So you'll know by then.
Yeah, you're seeing what you've seen so far is all of us, but maybe besides Gunner, like falling at featherfall speed for the last 100 feet.
Yes.
Rex.
And you just see Rex just.
I mean,
Okay.
to that point, he probably zooms past you, and you see him like falling faster than you are.
So-
Yeah, that's probably true.
Disadvantage or advantage?
Advantage. You're on the ground first.
Okay.
I've got my D8 ready.
Excuse me. And I am rolling a dexterity check.
save. Yeah.
Yeah, why is my camera like...
Your
No
autofocus
focus.
is not autoing. That's okay. Just
I
leave it.
know. Okay. Dexterity?
Yeah.
just squint, chat. It'll be fine.
It's because he's rushing by so fast.
27? Is that good enough?
That's good enough. You get the featherfall cast. So
So
okay.
I see him coming down. I realize after like he gets past the last tier, I'm like, oh.
Okay, go ahead and roll the D8 wash. Let's see how much fall damage he takes.
Ugh. A disrespective 6.
Oof. Oh, it's not great.
Oh no.
Okay, so he does featherfall. As he gets closer to the ground, you hear suddenly he's like screaming, like it didn't work, and you get it. You get featherfall cast on him, and he lands much more roughly than perhaps was intended. Kind of flopped on his side like a fish, like he's not at all guiding himself down or whatever. Dislocates his arm, and he is bloodied, which means he's at half his HP or lower. But he's alive, and he rolls over, and he's like, "I will never do that again."
Okay, and it's watching you do that, Rex, made me realize we are all lucky to be alive these last couple times we've done it.
Make way,
First
make way!
time's always the
Make way,
hardest.
army coming through, and you see several of the Army of Gaim soldiers pushing different things into place and stuff. It looks like something's gonna happen at the. Gunner notices at the same time as it happens that the inside of one of the entrances to the Underdark has been lined with explosives, and as the
Does it seem like it's done by the good
Like-
guys or the bad guys?
like in a way that is sabotage.
Oh,
and-
okay.
As
Does
the
Gunner think
charges
that they're
go
about
off-
to explode? Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
Dang.
the charges go off, and a huge puff of smoke and rubble launches back towards you. Salen's palace is between you and this entrance to the Underdark. Already, soldiers are swarming towards it. The Gemstone Guardians, Salen's personal honor guard, are there. You also hear behind you, "Hey, you!" And you turn around and see 2 more of the Gemstone Guardians. Remember, there's 8 of them. 2 more of the Gemstone Guardians are next to Salen, who is standing on a platform. They are fending off an assassination. They have just decapitated somebody. You hear various voices yelling things along the lines of like inside job, don't trust anybody, blah 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 blah. All the different things are happening. 2 of the Gemstone Wardens run towards you, being followed by a furious Wigbert, who's telling these are not the proper protocols. But they run towards you, these 2 Gemstone Wardens, and they go, "We need to get you to the palace. You have cargo to escort, right?" And they begin running ahead of you, trying to clear a path for you to get through.
Yes, thank you.
As we go, I'm gonna help Rex up and cast Healing Word on him.
What is the healing word today?
The healing word of today is stranger. Because stranger danger. Stay away from stranger kids. I mean, kids, stay away from stranger people.
Stay away from stranger
Hang
things.
around normal kids. Stay away from stranger kids.
Judge everyone. Trust no one. Swipe left.
You all rush towards the palace. You make it there unassailed, but you can now hear the sounds of melee combat happening out in the distance, basically beyond the gate. And you also hear behind you the sounds of padding feet running. You turn around and you see 3 dire wolves and the king of Udril, Tactus the Unyielding, rushing towards the gate. He holds up the Rod of Constitution and yells, "To me!" And behind him, several of Clan Lupus's warriors kind of muster and follow him towards the breach where they're going to go and hold off the attack.
Your Majesty,
stand now
we
at the
need
gate of Salen's palace.
Alan is going to see if he can catch the king before he runs off. Is that possible?
You probably can't stop him, but you could maybe talk to him as you run by. He looks over at you and gives you the bro nod. You know, like he's.
We need you at the airship as soon as possible. We are leaving for the cataclysmic ritual.
Leaving, but we're under attack.
We need to do this. I wish I had time to explain.
He twirls the Rod of Constitution in his hand and catches it in almost what looks like a sword fighting hold, and he holds it up and then he looks over at you with kind of a question in his eyes.
The avatars, they said it was necessary. We need to do this as soon as possible. We're grabbing Laredith and the machine, and we're leaving. I need you to trust me. I'm sorry.
His soldiers have kind of stopped and amassed in a circle around him. He spins the scepter down into like a knight's pose, and he kneels down on the ground, and he seems to whisper some kind of blessing or something over his wolves. And then he gives a command in Dwarvish, and they all run forwards to continue the fight. And he stops and follows you. The gates of the palace are shut, and Wigbert is there again, trying desperately to under the protocols in an attack. The palace can't be opened.
You cannot open the doors. I'm telling you, it's not procedure. Not anybody follow we did emergency preparation seminars before this. What are you listening? No,
Alan's just gonna open his hands towards the gemstone wardens that are escorting them into the palace, and just kind of be like, "Are you gonna talk to this guy?"
They look back at you like, we don't. I mean, he's the Chamberlain of the palace. Like, we don't really have authority over him.
Alan walks up to Wigbert.
Now
Wigbert is much smaller than Alan, right?
Yes, Wigbert is like a little hunched over old guy.
Alan is going to essentially put a hand on his head and move him out of the way, and then
you can't
keep going.
That's improper.
If I need to roll for that, that's fine.
You don't need to roll for it.
You can't do that.
Wigbert's cries are left behind as one of the wardens kind of walls him off and holds him back, and you're led to. You get inside the palace, and you're met at the door by Randy, who looks at you and he goes, "It's a good fit. I knew it'd fit." And then he leads you back inside. Let's go, and down to where Salen is. The room has been broken into pieces. Trevor, roll a d10 to find out how many pieces the machine had to be split into. There is a minimum of 4.
DM, how far are they down from the airship?
I guess 1,100 feet plus whatever it's floating at with its anchor.
Okay.
I rolled a 4.
Okay, so it was broken into 4 pieces that can be managed and carried. They're huge, but they're like manageable weight-wise and such, and they're kind of bundled, and probably the little flags for like wide load are hanging off the end of the pile and stuff. And Laredith is kind of looking at them all, and she goes, "Okay, I believe." She kind of adjusts her glasses. "I believe everything is here and everything is ready. We just need to get it safely to the airship. I understand we're under attack now."
Yes, that is correct.
Well, that's not fantastic, but it's something. Let's figure this out. Who's carrying things and who's defending the group? I should carry something. I should not be fighting.
I guess I should probably be fighting unless we need another carrier.
I'll carry.
Rex and Sasha both volunteer to carry. So that's 4.
Rex heals 6, by the way. Okay, great.
Rex heals 6. He's actually barely unbloodied now. So that's nice. He's back over half his health. Everyone comes in and picks something up. That makes sense too, because Rex is a hematician. Rex and Sasha are. So they each kind of pick up huge pieces of this machine. They're kind of wending their way through the entryway, and I'm going to roll the next die in the tension pool to see what you find outside. Oop! You you basically come to the front door area. So you're in the courtyard where there are gates, and the 2 gemstone wardens are still with you. The gemstone wardens, as soon as they step outside, they're like, okay, we have duties, we need to go. Can you make it to the reticulator on your own?
Yes, we can.
Great. And they rush out the front gate, so the gate is opened for you. As they rush out the front gate, they are just obliterated by a huge fist of rock that kind of splits out of the ground around them, grabs them in this huge hold, and slams them down on the ground. At the same time, those of you who can cast magic feel a weird kind of like, almost like goosebumps type sensation, kind of run across your skin, and then it kind of goes away again as this hand slams into the ground and then dissipates again into the ground. They are just gone. Ahead of you, you can still see and hear, there are people who are yelling and crossbows being fired and some ballista pointed back towards the entryway. Nothing has quite entered in yet, but, hey, Wash. Nothing has quite entered into the city yet, but the fight is happening.
All right, I'm going to turn to the nearest person who possibly may have witnessed that. Is there nobody else nearby that's not part of our party?
Not near you. You're in the courtyard, right? Everyone else is outside the palace.
All right. I gotta warn them. And I just immediately book it to the nearest person within yelling distance. I just try to get within yelling distance.
Okay.
Hey! Hey! I'm just screaming.
Okay.
Waving my arms.
You get at least a couple people's attention. Soldiers who are posted up at the barricades. One of them has ducked down to reload and looks over towards you. Still, he's a well-trained, disciplined soldier. He's still going through the motions of reloading his weapon or whatever as he looks towards you and goes, "What is it?"
There's something in the ground! It's coming!
Yeah, we noticed!
Well, it can come from anywhere! I just wanted to make sure you all know that!
At this point, Alan is escorting everyone else and is yelling at Fox. It's just like,
entrance!
They know!
The ground!
They know! We need to go!
Okay, and I run off.
Okay. The one that I rolled is not the complication, so there's no extra complication here. As you begin wending your way through, recall that as you're on the lowest tier, you're surrounded by all the pillars that support the walkways above you, the big arches. And so as you're wending your way through, huge floodlights begin snapping on, these massive ciphers of daylight that have been anchored to the tier above you, creating these kind of hot spots of bright white light and then deep shadow where the pillars impeded. And so you're crisscrossing through in such a way where it's like your eyes can never quite adjust to what you're walking through. Half the time it's blindingly bright, half the time it's incredibly dark. And as you're wandering through them all, you see to each side of you, every now and then you feel that kind of goosebumps chill feeling, and another something stretches out of the ground and slams back into the ground again.
I
yes?
rolled perception.
Okay.
23.
23. Okay, so with perception, I'll let you. How about you roll an Arcana?
I was about to say Alan would want to roll an Arcana to see if that goosebumps feeling stirs anything up for him. But if
we'll
Fox
see
is already
Arcana,
Yeah.
we all know that Fox, who just learned magic, is a pro at understanding it.
Yeah.
At least he thinks so on a nat 1.
You're pretty sure that you don't know anything at all about what's happening.
Okay.
You think it's weird. You're like, it's weird that the air is displaced in such a way that I get chills every time I see this spell getting used. And the group continues running. Alan, you can... I'm going to roll another tension die, but then you can roll your Arcana if you want.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
22.
22. As dust and rubble and begins fluttering around you, you realize that what you're feeling isn't just goosebumps. It's goosebumps that start on one side of your body, cross to the other side, and fade away. And what you're actually getting is pulses of the weave. Magic is being switched on and off in pulses that are timed with whatever these attacks are.
Oh. That's crazy. Alan is gonna... That's super powerful. But I don't like that. That's not something Alan needs to communicate at this very moment. I don't think.
No, not at this very moment.
Yeah. So keep going.
Okay.
DM,
Yes.
does that make it canon that every time we walked around with rods on us, that people just got goosebumps every time we walked by?
No, it does not.
Okay. It doesn't make it canon, but it doesn't make it not canon.
There is a difference.
It's in my head canon.
There's a difference between being connected to your universe's magic and past universe's magic.
We get past
Especially when your
goosebumps.
universe's magic has been twisted and warped and weird things have happened to it. Anyway,
Geese didn't exist in the past universes.
That's right. You're continuing
Well,
to
of course.
you're continuing to navigate towards the gemstone hall. You're basically right out front of it, where another sort of band of soldiers from the army of Gaim have secured it as an evacuation point for civilians and the like. They see you coming towards them, and they kind of look a little bit confused, like, who are these guys? We don't have any orders for them. You know, one of them stops you. What's your purpose?
We need priority.
We do need priority. There was gemstone wardians that now that I think about it,
We have the King of
we
Udril
need to
here.
go. Yes, we have
We
the
need
King
to
of
go.
Udril here and pieces of the machine.
They look towards
that
the
will
King of
stop
Udril
this.
and immediately snap to attention and step back. You push into the gemstone hall, and as Owlin in particular would have expected in a city that's under siege, the hall has been completely, renovated and set up as a choke point. So you walk in, and there are a couple of weapons ominously pointed towards you that are lowered when people recognize you and things like that. You step past the tables that were meant for the food bank, which have been flipped over as protective barricades. Go ahead, Fox.
I'm gonna tell him the same thing. Yo, strange stone hand is coming out of the ground. I don't know what's happening, but you all got to be prepared because it could probably just go right past the fences.
Thanks for letting us know. We'll keep an eye out.
Your enemies
and they-
can use magic. Alan will give them that warning as well.
And
Your
every
enemies
now and
can
then,
use
even
magic.
from in here, you feel that weird pulse of chills, and you know that somewhere outside, magic is being used again. You step into the verticulator. It's not big enough for all of you, so you're gonna have to split
Before
ahead.
the verticulator goes, Alan will basically, in a way, you see light bulb above his head. Like he just has a realization. When you feel goosebumps, you can use magic, and Alan will try to communicate that to them before they go up.
They look towards you, eyes a little bit wide, and then one of them looks down at his hand, like his gloved hands, and he sets down his crossbow, and he pulls out some spell components, and he goes, "Hell yeah!" And he waits, and the next time you feel chills, he's gonna roll a dex save.
That's huge.
He's gonna roll a dex save. And with a 3, nothing happens. He drops the spell components, but nothing happens. And he goes, "I thought you said," and then shoot, the door shuts on the verticulator. You have to split into 2 groups because the pieces of the machine are too big. Who's in the first group? Who's in the second group?
I'll be in the second group.
Okay.
I'll be in the first group. Alan, as the elevator closes, he's gonna say something like, "I can't help if you're bad at magic," and then they go up.
Okay. So
Raising morale.
we'll say maybe Owlin, Rex, and Sasha are
No,
the first
the
one,
point of
and
that
then
is that it's
Fox and
after
Gunnar in
the-
second one.
After the doors close, not
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that person can hear. Yeah.
Yeah. So Alan, Rex, and Sasha in the first one, Fox and Gunnar in the second one, and the King of Udril.
What about the?
in the second
Okay.
one, because that's 3 and 3. So, Alan, as your elevator full of people begins climbing to the second tier, the motor kind of whirring to life and everything, you get a glimpse outside the carriage of the battlefield below you. And you can see, obviously, there's now huge clouds of dust and whatever being stirred up by these huge fists that are making it foggy and low visibility outside the gemstone hall. But as you're walking, or as you're climbing, I should say, you see more than just that stone hand spell being used. You're starting to see other spells being used. You see fireballs smashing into pillars and thankfully not toppling them. Gaim is a pretty sturdily constructed place. But the fight is heavily magical on one side. However, as you're watching and as you approach the second tier, you see that the message you gave has clearly been passed back and around, because you're starting to see, oh, here's a wind wall to protect somebody from an incoming projectile and stuff like that. So the fight is becoming more arcane in nature as you make it to the second tier of Gaim. As you step off of the verticulator and it begins rattling back down to collect your friends, you're greeted by a small band of Army of Gaim soldiers who are just securing the gemstone hall, and then there are some some siege defenses that have been laid out along the second tier, like ballistae that are aimed down that can be fired into the battlefield and things like that. So further outside the hall, there's lots of that. You obviously are just continuing to go up, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
straight
gonna
up.
roll another die in the tension pool. This is going to be die number 6, so we're going to clear the pool as Fox, Gunner, and the King of Udril get on their verticulator. We have one complication.
Now remember, guys, just use your magic wisely. Only when you get goosebumps, you have to time it right. And good luck.
And then the verticulator doors swing shut, and you begin going vertically, rattling upwards in the verticulator, which ironically the music has not been switched off.
I want to, while we're waiting for, as we're going up, I want to talk to the King of Udril.
Sure.
So, how's it been since the last time we saw each other?
Well, my kingdom is in ruin, and most of my citizens are either here or involved in a guerrilla warfare there. And instead of continuing to contribute to the defense, I am now leaving the city with you. So things could be better. How about yourself?
Oh, yeah. Understandable. Did I lose my leg after I saw you or before?
No, I think that was after when I saw
Oh,
you.
okay.
You had 2 legs, I think.
Lost a leg. Yeah, still adjusting to that somewhat.
Maybe
but
that's not true. Maybe you didn't have the leg, but I think this one is new. Didn't you have like a smoky leg?
Yeah, my memory's not the best. When you change forms so quickly.
From the way that you told it to me, you would have seen him before you lost the leg, right? Because you lost the leg when you lost Jeb, right?
Oh,
Same
yeah,
time.
you're
Didn't
right.
you see Jeb today? What do you mean?
Well,
you
yeah.
lost Jeb?
Well, we got
They-
him back.
Yeah, that's
He
what
helped me.
I helped. Yeah,
Yeah.
we found him.
Yeah, no, he was gone for a bit, but we got him back. He may have been
Interesting.
working for the enemy.
Oh,
But yeah, I just wanted to.
so if he was
'cause
working for the enemy,
yeah.
why are we trusting him now?
Oh, because we made sure he wasn't part of the Aboleth's control anymore.
They bonked him.
We bonked him really hard.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, outside the verticulator, the battle continues to rage on as Owlin and his crew get in the next verticulator. Most of the verticulators on your way up, we're going to kind of speed through because the middle tiers of Gaim have not been breached by the incursion yet, save for our tension die. As you get to the 8th tier, Owlin, you and who's with you? Rex and Sasha, and that's it, right? Yeah, so you, Rex, and Sasha step out of the verticulator, and Owlin, your instincts as a soldier immediately tell you something is wrong. As you step into the room, it's still got the small group of Army of Gaim soldiers who are securing it, and otherwise it's cleared out. You see the barricades, so they're kind of behind the overturned tables with weapons kind of trained on the verticulators, making sure things are secure, but something is not right as you step out of the verticulator.
Can Alan insight the soldiers in the room as much as he can? Like, is someone here a
Absolutely.
turncoat? Like that sort of
Yep.
thing? Okay. Oh, frick. It's a natural one.
It's a natural one. Alan, you can't place it. Something feels off. You have no idea what it is. In fact, maybe they can help you identify it. You don't know. But something is weird about this room, and you can't place what it is.
Is everything all right in here? Alan's gonna ask that to the general group of soldiers here.
The soldiers stand up just like they have on every other tier, and one of them goes, "State your business."
We are bringing the machine that will end this war to the top tier,
Right.
and we have the King of Udril in tow.
Then we'd better get you on the verticulator. And one of them
Yes,
steps
exactly.
towards the verticulator, and he pulls the lever for the verticulator. As he pulls the lever, Rex leans into over your shoulder, and he says, "I don't remember any of the other Army of Gaim soldiers having snake eyes tattooed on the inside of their wrists."
And Alan knows that that's the Deadeyes, right?
Because they just told him on the boat upstairs.
Yep. Okay. In that case, Alan is going to take his flamethrower cannon off his belt and point it at the.
With his machine, like with his piece of the machine still in his hand.
Alan isn't holding a piece of machine.
Oh, you're right. Alan's not. You're absolutely right. Okay.
So Alan is going to basically draw a gun pointed at his head and say, "Don't move."
You don't want to be doing that now, sir. And as you, as he finishes talking, you hear the sound of a huge crossbow being drawn, heavier and more mechanical, and perhaps in some way modified from a normal crossbow.
By him or by somebody else?
No, by someone else, somewhere behind you. Right, you're focusing on this guy.
Yes. Yep. Alan wishes he had Gunner here to throw a grenade.
Shoulder angel moment?
Alan would be open to a shoulder angel for sure.
Now here's what's going to happen. You hear a voice talking from the back of the room. Ooh, and we rolled another complication. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to set whatever that stuff is down right over there. You're going to set it down. You're going to come nice and easy with us.
Maybe if they realize that they're all going to die if you don't get this machine up, and that petty squabbles are not the time?
Alan is going to keep the flamethrower trained on this guy and not move.
Rex and Sasha are also frozen. One of them is like, Alan, what do you want us to do?
Well, and Alan's talking to the Dead Eyes, not to Rex and Sasha. Well, in that case, it would be your funeral, as this tier will be overtaken soon enough. And if this petty squabble slows us down, I think we'll all be dead. And Alan will kind of like do his mental math face.
Yeah.
Oh, I would say less than 30 minutes for sure. Can Alan roll an intimidation based on those
sure,
those
go ahead
words?
And roll an intimidation.
As a fireball detonates on the tiers below.
Yeah, exactly. 17.
17. Okay. So Alan is explaining this, and the guy you have the flamethrower pointed at seems a little nervous about it. But the other guy, whoever's behind you, I mean, you can't see his body language or anything, so you don't know exactly how you've affected him. But you hear his voice go, "You misunderstand which side of this war we're aligned with. We are a for-profit enterprise, and the profit is not with the besieged."
Then you are idiots. And Alan will turn the flamethrower behind him and pull the trigger to get as many dead eyes in the 15-foot cone as he can.
Sure, roll an
and
attack at
draw his scimitar of speed in the other hand.
Great. Roll an attack at disadvantage. Also, Trevor, enter him at combat initiative 20, and then we're going to roll some initiative for everybody else.
You said Gunner at 20?
Alan.
No, Gunner's not here. That's a 17 on the attack. Oh, wait, no, disadvantage you said? Sorry.
Yeah, disadvantage.
Oh, still a 17.
Okay, great. Trevor.
Yep.
You're going to put Thug 1 at 13. You're going to put Thug 2 at 15. And you're going to put Clark One-Shot Jackson at 15 in the initiative order.
You said Clark?
One-Shot Jackson.
Okay.
You must write the whole name down on the initiative chart.
It's important to have the whole thing down for initiative tracking purposes.
Also, I just realized after I rolled that.
We'll go first between Thug 2 and Clark since they tied.
Clark will go first.
Okay.
So the flamethrower is a 15-foot cone, and normally it's a dex save, not a.
Okay.
Not
I'll just let
attack
them
roll.
roll their save at advantage now, because you're firing blank. So.
Okay. It's a DC 14.
Great. There are two people, but they're spread apart far enough that you're only going to be able to get one of them with it. So here comes.
15. 15. Sorry, DC 15.
Great. Oh, that's the tension die. Sorry. Here we go. There's the roll. At advantage. That's a natural 20 on it.
Mm-hmm.
Clark.
Full damage is 6 from what I rolled, and half damage is 3.
Okay.
So.
As a rogue, Clark's going to take none.
Okay.
One shot's going to jump to the side do sort of a combat roll, and with his nat 20, I'm going to give him an attack back at you. So he's going to pull the trigger on his double-barreled crossbow. Here's the roll to hit. You are facing away from him, engaged with another combatant. So he rolls at advantage, which is also a sneak attack. 14 plus 3 to hit is a 17.
That does barely hit with my new armor. Yes.
Okay.
My AC is 17. So.
Great. 17. I mean, not great, but a 17 hits.
Great.
Yeah. A 17 hits, and we're gonna roll our sneak attack damage, and then I'll also roll the weapon damage. Sorry, I don't have a D8 built into the 3D thing. Okay. 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 5 is 13, plus 1 is 14, plus 6 is 20. Alan takes 20 points of damage as 2 crossbow bolts at the same time kind of skate along. He's trying to knock the gun out of your hands. Unfortunately, he doesn't hit the gun, but they kind of skate across your shoulder and across your wrist. And so it's like a big kind of stinging cut as they slide past. And that will bring us to the top of initiative order. Rex and Sasha will enter at initiative order 3. Sorry, Trevor, I forgot to roll their initiative, so we'll just put them at the bottom of initiative order. We'll do 3 and 2. You can pick who's initiative.
Okay.
I think
that brings us to Alan first.
Yeah, okay. So Alan is going to rage, which brings his ethereal lightning-style wings to the forefront, as well as cause a lightning strike on a random one of the thugs.
Okay.
They need to make a DC 15 save for lightning damage.
Great. Cleo, roll a D6, but treat it as 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and tell us which person gets hit.
1.
Okay, so that's One Shot Jackson gets hit by a lightning strike. And did you tell me the damage?
The damage, let me roll it. Sorry, I have such small text on this PDF. 3 lightning damage.
Make a note of it, Trevor.
Yes. How much?
3 lightning damage.
To
1 shot.
Okay.
And then Alan will, like I said, he drew his scimitar of speed on his other hand, and so he's going to use that on the one that pulled the lever.
Okay.
Next to him.
Great.
So he gets 2 attacks. First attack is a 23. The second attack is a 13.
A 13. Okay. The 23, these are both on the lever guy?
Yes.
Okay, the 23 hits, the 13 does not.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll damage for that guy.
All right.
Which one is this? Lever guy?
Lever
guy
is 1.
Okay.
11 damage on lever guy.
11 damage on lever guy.
Got it.
Sorry, there was a really funny quote in the
Good one.
the quote for any of you Spotify listeners is, once we get in there, if we need to extract anything, I'll blow it up and extract it, which is a Gunner quote. Okay. So you've hit Thug 1. Trevor, what's going on next? Or is Alan still going?
Clark.
Alan's done.
Okay.
Clark is next.
Clark again. It's really just a fight between the two of them. Clark One Shot Jackson is going to reload, and then he's going to fire again, all in one smooth motion. This is the modification to his crossbow. So he can, if he doesn't take a move action, he can reload and fire in the same turn. So he's going to fire. I should roll this on screen. One of the crossbow bolts rolled 8 plus 3 is 11. One of them rolled 15. I think both of those miss with your armor, right?
Both of those miss with my new armor.
Okay. So now that Alan is facing him and is, more aware of the fight, he's not as easy to hit. And so the 2 crossbow bolts miss. Trevor?
Thug 2.
Thug 2. Thug 2 is also going to take a shot at you. Thug 2 rolled a 12 plus 3 is 15. Thug 2 also misses. There's a lot of missing going on in here. Trevor?
Thug 1.
Oh man, the thugs are just going. Here comes the next thug's attack. He's the one right next to Alan. He's going to attack you with a... I guess I should have been rolling an advantage for that. That's okay. He's going to attack you with a short sword, which he's going to draw as he attacks. And with a 15 on the die, that does hit you because that'll be an 18 total to hit.
Oh, dang. Yep.
Yep. So the 18 is going to hit you, and he's going to roll damage. Oof. That is 9 points of slashing damage, although you're raging, so that's not quite so bad.
After 4.
But he slashes across you for 9 points of slashing damage, and then he's going to attack you again with his bonus action. That's not a D20. I rolled a D8. I was like, wow, that's really interesting. That's a 19 on the die, so that one's also going to hit you, though luckily it is not a crit. And this time his damage is 10 points of slashing damage, which we'll have to 5.
Yay.
So he hits you for 10 points of slashing damage as he's next to you, and he goes, "It's the end of the line," or some other similarly thuggish thing for you.
That brings us to Rex.
Rex is going to set down his piece of the machine as quietly as as gently as he can. So he's going to take pretty much a full action for that, and then he's going to move over to not where Alan is. He's going to move over to the faraway thug number 2. He's going to move over next to him so that he's flanked, so that if Alan wants to attack him, there's advantage there. Or if he's moving over there to get all up in his face. And in fact, he'll roll an intimidate while he's over there to see if he can get him to flinch and back down. And he does. So he kind of gets up in that guy's face. You know, Rex is a big Hamatician dude. He gets up there in his face. He's got blood on him. You don't know if that's his blood. He gets up there and, gets up in his face and kind of cows Thug 2. So Thug 2 will miss his next turn, Trevor.
Okay.
And then I'm assuming Sasha's next.
Yes.
Sasha is going to take up kind of a protective position by the 2 pieces of the machine. So they're both set on the ground. And Sasha's going to just stand right in front of him and do that. And that brings us to the top of the round order. And a quick word picture for everybody. The inside of this gemstone hall has been repurposed from a food bank or a ration delivery vehicle to more of like a choke point for the army of Gaim. So there are some tables that have been flipped on their sides along the walls. The room is circular. It's about 50 feet in diameter in total, so it's not a big room. It's small enough that everybody is in immediate reach of everybody else. There's a sort of boundary, almost like a donut, where there's like a circle inside a circle. There's a boundary of flipped tables, creating some cover. And then on the inside of that cover, at the center of the room, are the 2 verticulators. So that's where Owlin is standing, along with thug number 1. Clark One-Shot Jackson is inside the ring of tables, so he has no cover. And then thug number 2 and Rex are both outside the ring of tables, fighting behind half cover. That brings us to the top of the round, which is Alan.
Alan.
All right. Alan's intent is to do 3 attacks, and he'll just keep slashing against thug number 1 until he dies, and then move on to Clark.
Great.
From there.
Roll the hit.
All right. First one is a 21.
Okay.
Does that hit?
That hits.
Okay, I'm gonna roll. Is it okay if I roll damage for them individually to
that's fine.
strategize these attacks? All right.
Yep. And chat has cast Hit Harder, so all of your damage is doubled.
Oh, sick.
All of theirs is too, but yeah, all damage is doubled for 10 minutes.
Okay, that's 5
Watch,
plus
can
5
you be
plus
the
2
10-minute
is 12. 24
Just like someone on your phone or
is
something.
with the double. It's 24 damage on that first attack.
Okay, great.
Thug 1 has taken 35 damage.
Thug 1 has taken 35 damage. He is bloodied. He is not looking good, swaying on his feet.
Alan's gonna slash again.
Okay.
That is not as good. That's a 15.
15 hits.
Oh, great.
Thug 1's AC is 14.
Great. That's a 6 plus 2, 8 times 2 is 16 damage.
16 points of damage. You hit him for 16 points of damage, and he is down.
Okay.
Thug 2 has fallen from his point by the door.
Alan is going to, unless it would provoke an opportunity attack, he's going to go for Clark.
Nope. You can get to Clark and make an attack.
All right. Final attack for the round. That is a 27, so I assume that
27 hits.
All right. Another minimum damage, though. That's another 16.
Okay. 16 is your minimum damage.
With the double, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because it's double. You're right. Okay, Clark One Shot Jackson has taken 16 points of damage from that attack, and I think you said he's next, right, Trevor?
Yes.
Okay.
Clark is second.
So now that you are point blank, he's going to try and jam his double-barreled crossbow right into your gut and fire it. He's going to roll to attack, or roll to hit, I should say. That's a 3 on the die. Describe to me what Alan does to bat this away. Like, Alan's got to, in some way, get, because you're so close, it can't be that he missed.
Sure. Alan will literally, like, maneuver the flat of his blade against the barrels, like.
Oh, I see.
And so if he fires, it'll just, like, slam against the flat of his blade.
Great. And you do feel the, like, you know, arm shaking, like, as it hits the metal. So he fires both barrels of his crossbow, but it doesn't hit you. He's going to drop the crossbow, and he's going to draw a crossbow bolt from a sheath on his leg. This is a bronze and gold-plated crossbow bolt that is dripping with some kind of contact poison on the arrowhead, and he's going to take a swipe at your neck with it. He's going to roll to attack, or to hit, I should say. 15 on the die plus 4 is 19 to hit.
That does hit.
That does hit you. Okay. Oh, and this is double damage too. Roll a Constitution save for me against the poison.
Right. Good thing I have good Constitution, but I rolled terribly. That's a 9.
Okay, well, you only took 6 points, even with double damage. 6 points of damage from the blade.
Is that counting my
part of it.
rage? My rageness?
No, that's before.
Okay,
so you
cool.
take 3 points of damage from the blade, but you take 21 times 2 points of damage from the poison. 42 points of poison damage.
Okay.
Ouchie.
That takes the wind out of him.
Yeah. So that's
41, is that what you said, or 42?
42.
Okay.
And that's just like a huge cut, like right across
The
your
answer
collarbone,
to
you know,
death.
like a huge chink in the armor, basically, that he found.
Yeah.
And he just like gets this huge slash across you.
Wow.
And that's going to end his turn. He gave up his move action to take a second attack. Trevor, what's going on next?
Next would be Thug 2, but he misses his turn, so it would go to Rex because Thug 1 is dead.
Thug 2's all intimidated by Rex being in his face. He kind of flinches back. Rex is just going to push the attack. He's going to draw one of the throwing knives that made him such a problem child for us in the past. And he's going to just leap for like a tackling coup de grace type of thing. So he's rolling to hit. 13 plus 3 is 16 is higher than 14. He hits. And he's going to, because he's stunned, I'm pretty sure that counts as a sneak attack. I actually don't know that for sure. Does anyone know that for sure? There's a bazillion rogues in here. If you don't know, we're going to say it does because I don't want to look at rulebooks today.
I'm pretty sure it does because it would give advantage.
It does.
Yeah, great. So that's a sneak attack. So that'll be 4d6 plus the dagger damage, which I guess is just another d6. So I'll just roll it all in d6s. And then that'll be doubled. So we've got 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 6 is 16, plus 3 is 19, plus 1 is 20, times 2 is 40 points of damage as he gets just tackled to the ground by the knife.
Is this on Thug 2 or Clark?
This is Thug 2.
Okay.
Rex just tackles him to the ground. How much damage has he taken in total? Or is this all of it?
0.
Okay.
That's all of it so
Okay,
far.
so he's bloodied heavily, but he's not out of the fight. Sasha is going to continue taking the dodge action and defending by the other pieces of the machine.
Okay.
And
That
so,
brings us to Alan.
Yep. And so, as a reminder of the situation, Alan is engaged in close combat with Clark One Shot Jackson inside the barricade of tables. Outside the barricade of tables, Rex and Thug 2 have disappeared. Right? They've fallen down to the ground level, so they're hidden behind the cover. And then Sasha is protecting the two pieces of the machine. Wash has a hand up. Yes.
Does FP see any of this? Being
No,
as
they're
though we've already
inside one of the
established.
gemstone halls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Don't worry, we'll come to
I'll-
what's happening up at the boat soon.
No, yeah, no worries.
Alan is going to go for 3 attacks on One Shot Jackson. He's trying to finish this as quickly as possible.
Great.
All right, I'll just roll the 3 straight up.
Yep.
Nat 20 on the first one.
Ooh.
12 12 on the second one,
Miss.
and 17 on the third one.
Hits.
Okay.
So do you double before or after the crit?
Double dice and then double
Yeah.
total.
So
Yeah.
he'll roll the full crit damage and then we'll double that. For him.
Oof. Ooh.
Hey, Grubba, we see you in the chat.
Right.
Times 4 damage.
The crit is 4 plus 3 is 7 plus 10 is 17 times 2 is what is that? 34. 34 total damage on the crit.
34 total damage on the crit. What's his total damage, Trevor?
19.
9. That doesn't make
And
Oh,
and
19
then
plus
add
34.
I see.
before the 34. So
okay.
53 total.
Yep, he is bloodied, but only barely. You're drawing blood, and he's starting to look winded, but he does not look like he's out, if that makes sense.
Okay, well then I'm going to roll the damage for the second slash that hit.
Yep.
4 plus 5 is 9 times 2 is 18.
18.
Oh, wait, plus 2. No, I forgot to add the rage damage to both of those. Plus 4 is 22, and that would be plus 8 on the other one. So add...
Just add 30 total damage for this.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
Yep, so 30 more damage. And now he is not looking so hot.
Let's bring us to 83.
Yep, he's not dead, but he's not looking
Fun.
so hot.
All right. Alan is also not looking so hot. Alan is like breathing ragged, but trying to end the fight as quickly as possible.
Right.
Clark is
And that's the end of his turn.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the end of his turn.
Who's up?
Clark.
Ooh. Okay. Clark is right up there, neck and neck with you. He's going to attack again with his dagger. Luckily, the poison has been mostly wiped off and into your bloodstream, so this is just.
Oh, I thought it was a
attack with
crossbow bolt.
Or yeah, it's a crossbow bolt,
Okay,
but
yeah.
mechanically it's a dagger. Sorry,
Gotcha.
I ruined the immersion. Here comes his attack.
Oh, Clark, Deadeye one shot.
He did
ruining
not roll high
immersions.
enough with a 2 on the die. He goes to attack you, but I mean, he's just had the crap cut out of him. He is going to attack again with his bonus action. And with a natural 1, Owlin gets an opportunity attack.
Right.
Well, let's see if you hit first.
19.
Okay.
My man's getting sloppy.
This is the killing blow, but describe it for me. Like, he's
Okay.
going after you for a second attack with this crossbow bolt. Paint the scene.
Alan dodges, uses that momentum from the dodge to swing his scimitar around to cut off his arm pretty much at the point where his Deadeye tattoo is, which would cut off his hand in the fact that he's holding the crossbow bolt and cut the tattoo, and then swing his arm around and go for the beheading.
Nice. You get the beheading, and as you do, you hear a quiet grunt from the other side of the table as Rex stands up, having dispatched the Deadeye that he's fighting to. And then you hear a ding, and the Verticulator opens, and Fox and the King of Udril are very awkwardly standing next to each other, making conversation. The Verticulator music kind of leaks into the room. Fox, the doors slide open. Tier 8. And you see, just bodies across the floor, and
So a
Owlin
lot's
is,
happened
cut up
since the
and
last time. Whoa.
You got room in there?
Alan, what in the world happened here?
Deadeyes. And Alan will just motion Rex and Sasha, and they're gonna try to squeeze in all into the same Verticulator.
Yeah, so so they're coming up, so you'll need to bundle into the other one. But all of you kind of try and squish into the other Verticulator, and we'll say you manage it. It's funnier this way. The little pieces of the machine everyone's at a weird angle with huge
I say we're all
pieces of
scrunched
Lotus
together.
machine,
Yeah.
scrunched in and
All right,
stuff.
just squeeze-
The door doesn't
squeeze over
shut
there.
the whole way, but the tolerances are enough that with a little piece of metal sticking out of it, it can still kind of go upwards, and so it continues
I think
climbing.
we're good.
Okay, so you are continuing your Verticulator climb like that. And so it is that you find your way to the upper tier, the 10th tier, if you will, of Gaim. And on the 10th tier, we have many of our other friends involved in some dealings. So I would like to start with those many other friends rolling initiative. Trevor, we're going to reset initiative here and put the other folk into initiative order, just in case, no reason,
I don't like that.
just in case.
So just to clarify, the friends that have been on this little side quest down there do not have to roll initiative.
No, they are not in initiative order yet, and when
Right.
they enter the scene, they'll just enter at whatever that initiative order is. That's when they'll come into initiative. Yeah, chat. It's Care Bear Bears.
So FP got a 23. And Radford got a 17. And Jeb got a 19. So all pretty good.
Clara got a 12.
Riley got a 15.
Is that everybody who is a player character who's up there? Did we do? Oh,
That's
Bruiser's
all my
in
player
in the
characters.
airship doing stuff. That's fine. Okay. So we're gonna use MT for Mysterious Thing. MT1 got a 21 initiative. MT2 got a 15. MT3 got a 5. Mockery got a 22.
Oof. This is a big Bob on Battlefield, y'all.
Yeah. MT4 got a 9. MT5 got a 5. BT for Big Thing 1 got a 21. And it will go,
no.
it's the bigger thing, so it'll go before Mysterious Thing. And Big Thing number 2 got a 10. You got all that?
I think you're muted, Trevor.
Yep, I got all that. I'm gonna roll for Zop because he's up there.
Great.
But do you want me to roll for Bruiser since he's in the cockpit?
No, Bruiser's doing the startup stuff for the airship, so we'll assume he's not outside and
Okay.
participating in. Not that there will be a combat, but if there's a combat, then Bruiser probably would skip it.
Okay.
We don't want to provoke the combat wombat.
Right,
That's
right.
right.
Big mysterious thing, and mysterious things referring to the big box of Wingle digits we got 1 and 2 because we got 2 boxes,
Mysterious
right?
Wingle digit
yeah.
boxes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That FP is first.
Okay, so I'm going to start with a word picture, and then we'll bring FP into the story here. So,
Okay.
The Gemstone Hall has not yet opened. Allen and Company are not up here on the first tier. It has been maybe 6 minutes since everyone jumped randomly off the edge. No, it's been maybe more than that. It's probably been like 15 minutes of like tense. You can hear the distant sounds of dragons fighting outside. You can hear, kind of growls reverberating through whatever. Preparations are being made. Civilians are running to the edges of the city, where the residential buildings are, to try and hide in the walls because the walkways are completely exposed. There's no cover above them. The airship is anchored between 2 pendants. So the airship is basically an anchor tied around or hooked around the arch part of a walkway. And then there's a chain leading up to the airship. And at the moment, there's a rope ladder leading back down again to that walkway. And then to either side of you, one end is the Gemstone Hall, that central building with the verticulator in it. The other end is a pendant that has been cleared basically as a landing pad, so there's no buildings on it or anything now. It's just a flat area where dragons can land and resupply. And as the fight above has continued, every now and then a dragonelle or a smaller dragon will fly down and, basically be met by some of the army of Gaim who will, resupply it, or they'll repair some armor. They're all wearing kind of cowls and things. So they'll kind of repair the armor and take care of those pieces. In the meantime, how are the 4 guys crew who are left on the ship arraying themselves? How have you positioned yourselves?
I think Jeb is bracing for the worst. He is anticipating Thraxenhow, and so has positioned himself on almost the bow of the ship towards the front, but like in a place where he can take shelter behind, like where the front door entrance is, kind of like the little part where it like goes down in the middle. And he has asked FP and any others to act as guards for him. And he tells them, so I'm going to fire off something big, and it's important that I maintain concentration on this. So FP is going to stick with him, and Radford is going to post up next to him as well. FP focusing on range and taking out threats that are far away. Radford bracing himself for anything that gets close.
Okay. Mockery is going to position herself by the rope ladder that would lead up to the airship so that she's just prepared to repel boarders, basically. What's up, Julia?
Do we still have people who are loading the airship, or is it like done? Cargo is all on aside from this one device.
Supplies are still being moved to and from the airship. So that's the especially like the four guys, like heads of staff and things like Zal and Marcy and those kinds of folks are still kind of bringing up duffels and crates and things, and kind of.
Do we know about how many rounds they have left?
No, we don't.
Okay.
Clara will be directing that as best she can, getting people in an orderly fashion up and down the ropes. And if people are struggling, she'll fly up alongside them and help out and try to keep nearby things away from them. But that's where Clara will post
Great.
up.
And actually, with that in mind, Mockery is going to wait at the base of the ladder so that if people attack, she can protect the people who are climbing. So Mockery is down there. She's got a cigarette lit in one hand, and she's got one of her short swords in the other hand, and she's just down there with her kind of monk robes billowing.
I think I'm gonna like you.
She looks up and winks. Where's Riley and Zopf?
So Riley is sitting on one of like the lower mast beams, right?
Okay.
And is actually just kind of overlooking everything and is actually drawing an image, trying to do her best to capture the siege of Gaim in a single drawing.
Okay.
And so she's working on what she thinks is going to be her masterpiece.
Great. And
Zop will be like on the railing, just ready to defend the ship and the people entering.
At like the top of the rope ladder, basically. So like Mockery is on one end and Zopf is on the other. Great.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that scene established, remind us who's at the top of initiative order?
FP.
Okay. FP62, it is your turn.
Perception check, please.
Yep.
That is a 17 plus 11, so 28. And he is surveying the entry, like everything up above, the entry holes, and is kind of gonna do just like a sweep around to get like a tactical assessment of not focusing too hard, but just like, is there things here, there's things there, counting it for this, counting for that.
Yeah. So FP is looking up towards the ceiling, gun locked and loaded, kind of positioned at the shoulder, keeping Jeb safe, and just sort of sweeping left to right, almost like a sentry mode type of thing has been activated. And as the sensors in FP's eyes kind of dilate, and you get that grid overlaid as you're kind of looking at the texture maps and the heat maps of things, FP notices several things at once. The first thing that FP notices is some rocks are being displaced off the ceiling. Now that could, like small pebbles. Now that could be from fighting outside, but the dragons are mostly airborne, so it's a feature of interest that might be worth investigating. You don't see any heat, you don't see anything happening there as far as what your sensors can tell you, other than the little pebbles are falling off, but they are falling off in a linear way. They're being displaced over locations or over time.
Does he see an absence of heat?
I think he probably does. I'm not 100% sure if the spell does that or not, but we'll say yes. He
Okay.
sees maybe an absence of heat in that location, or just the walls. Yeah, maybe it's not even an absence of heat as much as the temperature is the same for too much space. You know, this is a naturally occurring rock cavern ceiling. So he sees that. Chat, the avatars are in the ship.
Except for Laredith, who is coming up through
yeah,
the verticulator.
Except for Laredith, who's in the verticulator. So you see that. The second point of interest that you see is looking into the sky above. FP is able to clearly determine, even though it's nighttime, he probably channels some night vision sensors or whatever, but you're able to clearly determine that the dragons are fighting shadow mirror dragons, basically. So like they're also dragons. They're just made of that chaos energy or that shadowy material. And the third thing that FP sees is just the tiniest glint of a chain swirling in one spot, and then it vanishes again somewhere on the ceiling.
Oh no. There are shadow creatures here. Be mindful of poison and their teleporting abilities. We need a light setup as quick as possible. Is that his action to do that big of a perception check?
Probably is, yeah. Because that, I mean, in 6 seconds, that's a lot to take in and process.
Okay. Who's up next?
Yep,
Mockery.
Okay. Mockery yells back up, I can't do anything about the light, but I can keep an eye out. And she drops her cigar on the ground and steps on it to put it out, draws her second short sword, and she's going to take the dodge action. So she's just, posted up and protecting the rope ladder.
Okay. Next would be BT1.
BT1. Nothing happens for that turn.
Okay, MT1.
MT1. There is a stealth check to be rolled. Okay. Well, that's okay. I'll tell everybody. That stealth check is a DC 17. So for future needs, that will be the DC to beat. Trevor, next turn.
Jib.
All right. Dang it. And you didn't see exactly where it was, FP? Negative. I saw a chain and then it disappeared. Was the chain far away? Was it like way up in the
Somewhere
top?
on the ceiling.
Somewhere on the ceiling. And how far is the ceiling up from this top tier?
Well, it's 100 feet total, but you are suspended above it on your airship with its anchor. To make sure that there's plenty of safe clearance for people beneath you, I would guess you're at least 20 feet up.
Okay.
Bruiser, how high would you say it would be? You're the pilot.
How high would what be?
How high would you suspend the airship when it's anchored from the ground?
Well, I figured he's not using any of the engines. He's just letting it float up, so the anchor line would be tight. He's just waiting.
Right. So how much of the anchor line did you let out, though, is basically what I'm asking.
Probably enough for people to pass under the ship, so it's not blocking the walkway.
Okay. So yeah, that's probably 20 feet. If we're not trying.
So we got about
float
60
away.
feet above us then. 60 feet from the deck, probably
Yes.
to the ceiling then.
Yes.
Okay. Dang it. I don't know what to do. Okay, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to hold a firebolt on the blunderbuss for the next threat that comes into vision.
Okay. So it's basically a delayed attack.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay. Trevor?
Bradford.
Who's turn?
Bradford.
Oh.
I mean, there's just like a lot of nothing going on right now. Yeah, Radford's gonna follow suit. Oh.
Unfortunately, they all got last in initiative. Most of them got last in initiative order.
Yeah. What's the light situation on the deck of the ship?
There is dim light being provided by some manual torches that have been set along the, like the railing of the main deck, but there's no magical light. The ciphers, like the wiring in it, has been repaired. I'm assuming it's not on, but maybe it is. I guess that's a question for you all. Bruiser, is it on? You turn on the lights on the ship.
Yeah, probably. That's
Okay.
part of the startup
So
sequence.
then never mind. There's no torches. There's just a flat, normal. It is the light spell at whatever intervals along the deck are necessary to keep the deck illuminated. So the deck itself is lit, although not brightly so. You know, there's still the dim range at the edge of the light spell, and then there's another light spell, and so on. So there's some dimness and some shadowiness, you know, like especially where the old spa was, that room with the window blown out and stuff, that room is not functioning quite properly. So it's dark in there.
All right. Radford is going to take a torch from his pack and light it on fire and just hold it out in a defensive stance, and he is going to hold his action to attack anything that shows up. He is anticipating something to teleport within range.
Okay.
And he is positioning himself like between Jeb and exposed areas on deck.
Cool.
Sorry, I didn't catch
We've got
this,
like this little
when we did
Avengers triangle.
Yep.
when we did initiative, but Riley and MT2 tied.
Okay. Let's have Riley go first.
Okay. Then it's Riley's turn.
I think you're muted, Cleo.
I don't know what you're talking about. I was just breathing with my lips moving before I started talking. Riley would like to roll a perception check just to, as she's doing,
Yep.
her art piece.
So she's looking down.
She is looking down.
Okay.
Yes. And along the catwalk.
Great.
And in that case, 10.
Oh, bet you're missing Fox's stats now.
Yep.
I mean, from an artistic perspective, there's lots for her to see, but from a strategic perspective, she's not taking very much in.
Okay. Then she ties up what she's doing with the art piece. Tries to take like a mental image, and then rolls up her art utensils, puts them away, and then flies down to the deck.
Okay.
That's probably her whole turn.
Yep. That's fine. She flutters down to the deck. She is a wheatling, kind of flutters down there. And then that brings us to MT2, Trevor. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Great.
Roll bad. Roll bad. That's not bad enough. Roll badder.
Okie doke.
No, that's better.
Oh, Grubbug's messing with us. Grubbug has designated. Grubbug forgot to designate who is going to do all the GM rolls for 10 minutes. Grubbug, hit us in the chat with who that is for 10 minutes. Who's gonna roll for me?
Grubbug's internet is bad, so it may take a little bit for her to
That's
hear
fine.
you say
When
that and then
when
send
she
the chat.
says it, we'll take over and we'll start the timer then.
Cool.
I'm watching and I'll take care of the timer.
Okay. Trevor, who's next? Oh, Will of the Wisp
Will of
is
the
rolling
Wisp.
on my behalf.
And the timer is starting.
Thanks,
Great.
Bay.
Zop is next, and he's just gonna ready an Eldritch Blast for hostile enemies.
Great.
And then that
As
brings us
opposed
to
friendly enemies.
yes,
Mm.
frenemies, if you will. Clara is next.
Has anybody explained to Clara that magic is working?
No, I don't think anyone up here knows yet.
Hey, Clara. If you get close to me, magic works. Just FYI. It's about to get really dangerous. And
What do you mean
there's
close?
some
You mean
real-
like on an emotional level? Like you're cute, but you're not my type.
I mean, if you felt about me and you stayed within 100 feet, yes.
You said
Yeah.
light? Are
Oh.
you the one? No. FP said light. You need light?
Yeah, we
Where?
need light. These things can travel
Where?
into shadows. Put it on you and stay somewhere in the middle, or put it on something. I don't know. Put it where shadows are.
Put
Essentially,
your money where the
wherever
mouth
shadows.
is.
Yeah. Essentially, where shadows are, they can be dangerous. They can pop up. So, think of that.
All right, this is
I
gonna
don't
take
know.
a lot of thinking juice, but just point me where you want me. Clara is going to cast dancing lights. There are 4 torch-sized lights
Nice.
with a radius of 10 feet each. They're here for a minute, up to 120 feet. She's going to direct one over to where Radford and company are. She's going to direct one to the base of the ladder, one to the middle of the ladder, one to the top of the ladder, unless otherwise directed. And she's going to, like, pull faces like this is not... I haven't done this in a long time, you guys. Okay, let's
That's perfect.
All right, just let me know where you want it to go. I
if you need to-
I think I can control it.
Yeah, if you need to move them, I'll let you know where. You got this. You got this. You got this. Easy as pie. Am I right?
It's like magic.
Yeah.
Trevor.
That brings us to BT2.
Okay. Is it villains for a while?
BT2, MT4, MT3, MT5.
Okay, great.
Aren't I supposed to be rolling for you?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
that out.
Roll 5
Roll worse than
D20.
that.
Roll 5d20. And tell me all their individual answers.
I've got a 9, I've got a 17, I've got an 11.
Okay.
I've got a 14, I've got a 3.
Okay. Roll 3d6 for the tension pool.
No ones.
Okay. No one's in the tension pool, and that brings us to the top of initiative order. Everybody is posted up. We're back to FP's turn. Nobody has really moved locations, with the exception of Clara is now on deck so that she is close enough to Jeb that she can use the weave, which extends 100 feet from Jeb. So she's somewhere in that 100-foot range, and using her dancing lights to keep the ladder illuminated. And then there's one. Where did you put the other one, Clara?
One is around, there's like a gaggle of people that Wash is playing.
Oh, yes. One is around Wash's characters.
Yes.
Up at the...
This message brought to you by the Gaggle Gang.
Yeah, that's up at the bow of the ship.
And then we have, one at the base, one in the middle of the ladder, and one at the top of the ladder at the entrance of the ship.
Okay.
Unless that's already lit, and then it'll be somewhere else along the ladder that is dark.
FP, it is your turn.
I do not like this silence. It makes me anxious, worried. I do not. And he's going to make a perception check to see if he can see anything else.
Sure.
That's a 24.
Okay, he perceives a couple things here. The first thing he perceives is that the fight above has gone silent, but looking up, you can still see the dragons fighting. Eerily silent. The next thing that you notice is that above the gemstone hall, where there's a huge steel cable anchoring that pendant to the ceiling of the cavern, there are 3 creatures who are at the top of that cable attempting to cut through it. They have some kind of large machinery that it looks sort of familiar from what would have happened at the dig sites, which is, FP was manufactured at one of them. Similar to some of that mining machinery has been anchored into the ceiling, and they are just digging away. Again, you don't hear the motors of this mining machinery, despite the fact that it should be making sound.
Yes.
And the third thing that FP notices is less of something you see and more of something you feel. The weight of the tugboat shifts ever so slightly to the right and then evens back out again.
There is excessive use of magic. Silence is dampening the things above. I believe something invisible has landed on the ship. And I will say, Radford, the thing on the ship is close. I think you should do that. And can FP make an intelligence check? Seeing as though you said that he was familiar with the kind of machinery at the dig sites, to see if he can shoot a weak spot. Can he do like a called shot on this thing to try and knock it loose? I mean, I'm sure it's either magically floating or it's harnessed up there somehow. It's mounted to the ceiling,
Sure.
or something like that. Like it's not just floating.
Yeah, let's do roll your attack at disadvantage because it is a called shot. And this is essential. Are you trying to dislodge it from the wall or disable the machine? Because the DC will be harder to dislodge it from the wall with a shot, but it would mean that they could not start up again.
Ooh, you're giving me a risk reward, and I kind of don't like it.
Are you a gambling man?
I am decidedly not, but I am next to one and would like to impress one. So I think I am going to shoot the machine down.
Okay, you're going to knock it off the wall.
And this is at disadvantage?
This is at disadvantage.
Okay, well, since I didn't move last turn,
Yes.
he's going to use steady aim
Okay.
to give himself advantage
So that'll
and
just
cancel the
to a normal
disadvantage
roll.
out. Just to a normal roll. And here we go.
Here it comes.
Really good. That's a 15 plus 8.
Woo!
That's a total of 23.
Yes, I think. Yes,
yeah,
23 to hit.
23. There is a silent to your ears little flit of sparks as your bullet impacts the metal machinery, but the machine is not dislodged from the wall. However, two of the creature's heads turn and look towards you, and so you know that they're aware of you shooting at them at this stage.
I am going to. No, I can't do that. Can I? No. Nope, because that uses my bonus action. FP is just gonna like slowly duck down.
This is a very slow crouch.
Yeah, he's just gonna hold very still.
Okay.
Gun trained. He says, "I missed. I hit the machine, but it is not falling down. I will try again."
FP, you don't hear your own voice.
FP whips around and starts doing birthday cake hand signals. He doesn't realize the other guys don't know this, but at least maybe his moving will gather attention.
Okay. So he does that. Trevor, who's next?
That would bring us to Mockery.
Mockery. Mockery is at the base of the ladder. She is able to hear the impact of the bullet on the machine from where she's located. And so she looks up and sees it happening. And she's going to tuck her short swords away and start running towards the pendant. It's going to take her the whole turn to cover the distance with a dash action. So she's going to just dash the length of the walkway and get to the pendant with the verticulator and begin with whatever movement is left over. She's going to start climbing the outside of the gemstone hall. That will conclude her turn. Trevor, who's next?
BT1.
BT1. Julia, I need you to roll 2d20. This is a roll at advantage.
One of my D20 I previously rolled might have been a D12.
I won't.
You're welcome,
Yeah.
everyone.
Roll that one.
Highest is a 16.
Highest is a 16. Okay. The Owlin and company in the verticulator begins shaking a little bit, almost like wobbling weirdly to one side. Trevor, who's next?
MT1.
MT1. MT1 is going to leap onto the deck of the Cugboat from one of the stabilizing fins where it teleported into shadow. It's going to leap up to the deck and vault the railing, and it's going to do so not quite even with Jeb. So Radford, because it doesn't know exactly where Radford is, and so Radford is between the two of them, but it's not an opportunity attack. The shadow creature is going to immediately lash out silently.
Except
Oh,
that Radford was holding his action.
you're right. Radford's holding an action. So this creature jumps onto the deck, and as it kind of crouches and poses itself to use the chain for an attack, Radford leaps into action.
Natural 20.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
And
get 'em.
that is. That's going to be.
This is getting heated.
Not a lot. That's 9 points of damage as Radford whacks him almost like with a tonfa of the torch. So I don't know if there's any fire related damage that would be on top of that, or like light damage or whatever.
I'll take care of it.
But yeah.
Okay, Trevor, track that damage, and Julia.
How much?
What Wash just said, and then.
Oh, I don't remember. I moved my dice.
I think it was 9.
It was 9.
And then
Okay.
Julia, roll a d6.
4.
Okay, 8 points of fire damage.
Okay.
Oof.
And that attack that you prepared hits. It's going to immediately retaliate and attack back. So Julia, roll an attack, please.
10.
10. Okay. Is Radford's AC beat by an 18?
Radford's AC is 18.
Okay, attacker wins in a tie. So the chain swings out to its full length. Julia, roll a d12, and Radford, roll a Constitution save.
4.
Okay. 4 points of
Oof, not
piercing
good.
damage from the spiked chain.
Okay. That is a 7 Constitution save.
7 Constitution save. Julia, roll a d8. This is necrotic damage, and it's permanent until you receive a greater restoration spell.
I do not have a D8.
I like you.
Oh, you don't have a d8? Here.
Look it up, fam.
Nice catch.
1.
1. All right, you take 1 permanent hit point damage.
I'd like to think that is like just like a slash, right? Maybe like across his cheek, and it just kind of just like makes a little scar.
Like it
just
slows
like
down
where
into
it nicks
bullet
him.
time as it like
Yeah.
kind of whooshes past. The creature is going to then use. Oh, it already used its movement action to get on the deck, so it's going to. That's the end of its turn.
Jeb is next.
Okay, and Trevor, you can change that one to Shadow Creature 1 now that it's been revealed.
Okay.
Jeb is next.
What the? Oh, okay. You got him, right?
You bet your little mole body I got him.
And Jeb is going to holster the blunderbuss, take the rod of luck, and in one hand, and reach his hand out with the other, and out of the ceiling, boom, this massive stone claw forms as he casts Hand of Jebediah, and I'm going to use its forcefulness to smash into the machine and try to like rip it loose.
Okay, Jeb, as you do this.
You wouldn't be rolling, would you?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Roll a d6.
2.
Okay. How are we on that 10-minute timer? Because I keep forgetting and rolling by accident.
Oh, the 10-minute timer is now up. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that roll did count. Okay, Jeb, you cast Hand of Jeb. It works exactly how you want it to. As you do, you and all the other magic users who are on the Cugboat feel a sort of shiver go across you, or like goosebumps kind of spring up across your arm. And Jeb, your Hand of Jeb is met by a Hand of Jeb that launches out of the ceiling and slams into it, and the two of them smash together into almost like a fist bump. But they like grapple each other, and the other one is attempting to repel you.
I mean, that sounds like a contested strength check.
It sure does.
Would it be
They should
contested
arm wrestle.
Arcana?
No, actually, it has its own strength. Like, it has its own strength score.
Oh,
It does.
That's
Can you remind
cool.
me what that strength is, by the way? I just rolled for it.
It has
but I don't have in front
it
of me.
has a strength of 26, which is a +8.
Okay, so you need to beat a 16.
I rolled a 15 +8.
Okay, you beat the 16, so it launches out. You smash through it. Rock bits fly out.
Can he like
everywhere.
have grabbed? Can he have like grabbed it almost like an arm wrestle thing, and they're just like, zh, and then he like slams it into the machine?
Yeah,
like,
that's
because he
cool.
was like heading that direction.
That's dope. Okay, so yeah, boom, you do that. I roll a couple saves. Those are not d20s. I roll a couple saves on behalf of some folk. One of them falls, one of them doesn't. One of them doesn't. Okay, so only one fell on their way down.
They die.
On their that actually wasn't a roll for them. On their way down, Mockery lashes out with a kick, but she's not able to like coordinate the hit as they fall past. They still fall past, and they don't land on the ground. So that is one creature eliminated, one humanoid or whatever is up here on the wall, doing work. The
Is that
machine-
anyone in initiative?
Yes, that would be one of the MTs. You can just pick one and take it out of initiative order. Someone who hasn't gone yet.
Okay.
The machine is still anchored to the wall in some way.
Okay. Jeb is going to like huddle next to FP, just like
Also crouches down.
yeah, like he's just like, if that thing hits me, I will just die. So FP, don't let him hit me. Don't
Trevor, who's
worry,
next?
Dad.
Radford is next.
Okay, Radford's turn. Radford face to face with
Oy.
Shadow Creature.
Oh yeah. Old man's gonna do it.
And he is going to he's just kind of like light on his feet, kind of bopping back and forth a little bit, and we're gonna attack.
Yeah, you are.
That is a 20 to hit.
Okay.
Oh, and actually, I meant to before that. He's going to use a bonus action, and the tattoo like pulls up around his arm, and his big shadow maul manifests out
Nice.
as he swings out at this thing. That's going to be a d6, 2d6. So that's 6 plus 5 is 11 plus 1 is 12. 12 points of damage. 6 of that is force if it matters.
Sure.
That brings the total to 29.
29 points of damage, and because of the force damage as well, as you hit it with the maul, it kind of backpedals over the railing and falls off the ship. It does not fall to its death. It catches itself on the stabilizer, like the little fin down there below, but it has fallen back off. And as Radford sits there looking at the results of his work, and as the kind of dark tidings that surround you remain, as the silent to your ears fight above continues happening, as Clara struggles to maintain her dancing lights, keeping your deck safe from the teleportation abilities of the shadow creatures, as Owlin and company are wedged tightly into a verticulator that they do not know is in danger of being dropped from the 10th tier of Gaim to the ground. As all those things happen, tonight's Dungeons & Dragons session comes to a close, and we set the
Dun,
stage
dun,
for next
dun.
Monday.